Hello widget watchers, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to understand one of the most important improvements in modern Android development, view binding, and why it has almost completely replaced the old find view by ID method. If you have watched older Android tutorials, you will notice they always use find view by ID, but in today's world, we rarely use it anymore. Why? Because view binding solves almost every problem that find view by ID used to create. So let's start with the problem.
So let's say in my project I have a ID. Like here I'm using the last video's tutorial. So let's say I want to refer this button, right? So here what I can do, I can create a variable for button. Like I have created the button variable, and then here we can simply mention that find view by ID and its type of button. Then we can mention it as a button, and then r dot id dot simple button. Okay. So now here if you notice, then let's say we have tens of buttons, tens of text view, and tens of edit text, and tens of multiple images. In that case, like we will write 60 to 80 lines of code just for creating these variables and referring them, right? So it's a big issue. And apart from that, let's say here we want to add a text view. Okay, so let's create a variable for text view. So this time we are going to refer our this text view which says hello to widget wisdom. Okay. So again, here we will mention that find view by ID. Then it's a text view type. So here we will mention text view. Then we will add r dot id dot. Let's say we have added the name edit text. Okay. Now if you notice, this is not giving us compile time error, but if we will run this application, then the application will get crashed because we are assigning the edit text to the text view type, right? So this can cause a huge error, and whenever we run this application, then this application will get crashed. This error will not show at compile time. This error will won't show on the build time, but it will get show when we run this application. So these are the few issues which is happening with the find view by ID, right? So what basically Google does to solve this problem, they introduced view binding to fix exactly these problems, right? So with view bindings, Android Studio automatically generates a binding classes for each layout file. These classes will going to contain all the view references with correct data type, so you never have to search for them manually. So let's enable view binding in our project file. So for that, first come to this app level build.gradle file, right? And here scroll down to the bottom and here add the build features. So what we need to do here, we first need to add the build feature. So let's add that build features. Then inside it, turn on the view binding option to true, right? That's it. Now we just need to sync our project. So let's sync it. Yeah. So now it's done. Now here above we need to create the binding variable so that we can refer it everywhere. So that binding variable is going to be type of private. So here we will add private. Then we will initialize this variable at later point of time when this function get called. So here we will mention late init var and then our variable name. So let's name it binding and its type of activity main binding. So here I have added the type. Now we can remove this set content view. Now this line has no purpose. We just need to initialize our binding here. So what we will say, binding, uh, binding. Then here we will add activity main binding, and then we will inflate our layout inflator to this activity main binding so that whatever views we are creating, it has all the references for those views. Okay, now we just need to set our main view to this binding. So here we can say set content view and the root of the binding, right? So that's it, the binding part is done. Now we don't need to use this, right? We can simply say binding. Now let's say we want to set the on-click listener method on our button. Then what we can do, we can here simply mention binding, then simple button. Then we can add the set on-click listener method onto this. And let's say we will simply show a toast message. So here we will say toast dot make text, and yeah, we just need to import this toast class. So let's import it as well. So this is done. All errors are resolved. Now let's try to run this application so that we can see if it is everything working fine or not. Okay, the app is installed. Let's see if it is fine or not. So let's say, okay, we don't need to enter text. It will only show a toast message. So yeah, button clicked. It's showing proper toast message. So yeah, we have successfully added the binding here. To a recap, see, we need to add build feature, and inside it we need to make the true value for this view binding, and then we need to create a variable, this binding variable, to hold all the XML references. Then we need to initialize this variable, right, to hold the references. Then we will set the root view to this content view, right, and then we can simply use the binding. No issues. Okay, so that's it for this video. I know in the last video I promised that in today's video we are going to see the toast messages, snack bar, and the alert dialog, but trust me, this was the much important than those things, so I have added video for this. Now in the next video definitely we are going to see how to add the toast messages, snack bar, and the dialog messages. Okay, so till then, bye bye.